Hello everybody, today I'll be showing you how to resolve vector components. The method I'll be showing you involves using trigonometry in order to find the x and y components of a vector. Okay, so let's say for example, a man is riding his bike in the northeast direction, traveling 40 degrees above the horizontal for about 100 meters. Okay, so before we do anything, we must draw our vector on a set of axes. This vector should just look like a straight diagonal line coming from the origin. Now that we've drawn our vector, now we must label it. First, we should label the diagonal line with the appropriate 100 meters that the biker has traveled. And now, after that, you should label the 40 degrees that the diagonal line makes with the x-axis. Now that we've labeled all our given information, let's start by looking for what we need to find, which is, in this case, the x and y of the vector. So, how do we find that? Well, to start, we will draw a rectangle around the vector in the way that makes the vector the diagonal of that rectangle. Now, you should label the horizontal side of the rectangle with an x and the vertical the y. These are the x and y components, or in this case, the north and east components of the vector. Now, as you may notice, our vector is actually splitting our rectangle into two triangles. This is actually very useful for solving for the x and y components of our vector. Since our triangle here is made up of a half of a rectangle, we know that it's a right triangle. And since we know it's a right triangle, we know that we can use the sine, cosine, tangent functions in order to solve for the sides of the triangle. This is what we'll use in order to find our x and y components of the vector. Okay, so let's start by solving for y. In order to do this, we're going to use the sine function in order to get sine 40 equals y over 100. Multiplying both sides by 100, we can then get y equals 100 times the sine of 40. Now, by plugging this into our calculator and doing the math, we can get y equals 64.28. This is the y component of our vector. Okay, so now let's do the same for x, but instead of using sine, this time we're going to be using cosine. Going through the same process, we can get x equals 100 times cosine 40, and then x equals 76.6. This is the x component of our function. So now that we've solved for the x and y components of this vector, we are done. That's all you need to know for resolving vector components. I hope this tutorial was of use to you, and this method I showed you is usable with pretty much any vector. By pretty much any vector, I mean any vector. So use it if you, whenever you feel like you need to resolve a vector component, because that's what I taught you. Bye.